everyone. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that I've never talked about before, and it's a subject that makes people very uncomfortable, but it's a subject that I think is very important, and I think that we should all be discussing it and figuring out the best solution for everyone in society. Many of you know that I worked for many years as a registered nurse, and during that time I took care of, I don't know how many hundreds, thousands of people, and many of them I saw suffering a great deal. I saw people who were afflicted with Alzheimer's, cancer, AIDS, all kinds of diseases. I saw heart attacks. I've done CPR on people. I worked in an intensive care unit, actually several of them. So I've seen a lot as a registered nurse, a lot of suffering. And one of the things that I realized from seeing all this suffering is that our society is not doing enough to relieve the suffering of so many people. One of the things that consistently made me sad was to see my patients alone at the end of their lives, often for months, sometimes years, because they didn't have family members and they were stuck there. And many of them said to me that they wish they weren't alive. And I also had some people asking me to help them to end their lives. It was pretty devastating. I'm someone with a lot of compassion. I hate suffering. And it occurred to me that when I got older, I didn't want to suffer the way that they are. I didn't want to be kept alive by tubes. And we're not just talking about people who are terminally ill. Sometimes there are people who are not terminally ill, but are in wheelchairs. They have the inability to move their legs or their arms, or they need to be tube fed, or they're extremely sad, they're extremely lonely, they've had many years of depression, whatever it may be. I think that we as a society need to have compassion and to help people, to assist them to end their lives if that's what they choose. Now, I know what all of you are going to say. It's a slippery slope. We have to be very careful because people will try to do bad things. They will try to fill out insurance forms and have family members end their lives before they want to, this kind of thing. And I think there's ways around that. I think there's ways that we can make sure that that's not happening. But I think that we as a society need to really step up and help people to end their lives with dignity when they feel that they are ready. We should not have to have people in society standing on the top of bridges and looking down, terrified, when they want to end their lives. We should not have people in society walking along the train tracks, terrified, when they're thinking of ending their lives. We should be enabling people to end their lives without fear. People who are not happy being alive, people who have made the serious decision that this is no longer the place they want to be. We should not be ridiculing these people. We should not be forcing them to be alive. We should not be forcing medication down them. Now, of course, we should be trying as hard as possible to make this world a good, decent place for people. Of course. Of course, there should be some kind of therapy, and there should be a way to make people happy, make sure they're not suffering. But if people so choose to end their lives for whatever reasons they want to, we should be helping them to do that. Now, in Switzerland, they were trying to help people to do that. They were being compassionate. But recently they changed the laws and they made it much more difficult for the average person who wants to come, let's say, from another country to go there and to end their life. So this is unfortunate, and also it costs money, which is ridiculous. So what I'm saying to everybody here is I'd like to open up the conversation. I'd like to know if anybody out there, any of you, have felt super sad or just fed up and you just felt like, I just, don't want to be here anymore. I've had enough. And you are terrified to suffer alone in isolation for the last 5 years of your life or 10 years of your life. I mean, I went here to visit an old age home and I've worked at them and I find them to be the most depressing places. There are people in there who don't want to be there. There are people in there who feel trapped. There are people in there who feel like they have lost all their dignity. People who don't have families but are stuck there. Before I continue, I want to remind you to watch this important documentary called Earthlings, which is about the suffering of animals. And I think this is why I am so compassionate with people and animals, because I see a connection. I don't think any of us should be suffering. And if you think about how we end the lives of our pets, dogs and cats, if they're suffering, we give them a needle and we let them die with dignity. And yet we don't do that with humans. And I think that's wrong. Personally, I would like to be able to make the decision when I want to go. I want to get my affairs in order. I want to write out a will. And I want to end my life when I decide that I want to end my life. When I think I've been here long enough. And I've talked to my husband and he feels the same. He thinks also that it is insane that people should have to be terrified on a bridge somewhere or terrified while holding a gun to their own head. There should be a way to die with dignity, and not just if you have a terminal illness, not just if you are physically suffering. You should not have to prove to some random people that you want to end your life. You should be able to just decide that and do it. And the information should be much more public about the subject. This video might even get banned from YouTube just because I'm talking about it, which is insanity. You should be able to Google it to find out how to end your life with dignity. What is the drug that you can take? Excuse me, that would cause the least amount of harm to you, least amount of suffering. And how can you do this in a ceremony fashion with family around if they want to be, friends around if they want to be, or alone? How do we continue the conversation here? So I wanted to bring it up with you. I wanted to get you to think about it a little bit and let me know in the comments what you think about it. Do you know somebody in your family right now who is, for example, in an old age home and alone? Alone, bored out of their fucking mind. They feel like they have done everything now in society that they can do and they're just alone. They have no more goals, no more desire to live. They're often in a diaper and they're just lost all their sense of dignity, and they just think to themselves, I don't want to be here anymore. When that is me, I hope that somebody will assist me to end my life. And I think that for all of you as well, I think that anybody who makes that decision should be allowed to do so, and that it should not cost a lot of money, and that we should be able to do it proudly. Just say, you know what? This was my birthday and my death day. I've decided is going to be whatever it's going to be. And then we help people to achieve that goal. That's what I think. That's what I think would be the best for all of society. And I think that we should have that conversation. So let's have it. In the comment section, let me know what you think. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of other videos. Click on them. Be curious. I have over 2,300 videos on this channel. This is the first one about assisted suicide. But join me in the conversation, all right? Don't forget to subscribe and like and help me get everyone out of hell. Thank you. Bye for now.